Imagine standing in the middle of the Arctic, where temperatures can freeze an engine, winds cut like knives, and no roads exist. In that frozen hell, every piece of equipment faces failure, but there are expedition trucks designed not just to survive, but to conquer. They are mobile fortresses, massive giants built for impossible missions. We've compiled 10 of the biggest off-road expedition trucks that even the most hardcore vehicle fans have never heard of. One is nearly the length of a football field, one was abandoned and lost forever under the ice, and another actually drove to the North Pole. If you love massive machines and crazy engineering stories, hit that subscribe button right now. Tell us in the comments which truck blew your mind the most. Let's find out. If you think 8-wheeled trucks are impressive, take a look at the Kamaz 6345, a Russian 6C6 behemoth designed to turn Russia's roadless territories into its highways. Built in the 2000s, this truck wasn't made for conventional roads but for places that barely exist on a map, where even GPS can lose its signal, the Arctic Circle and frozen Siberia. Measuring over 10 meters long and weighing more than 20 tons, the Kamaz 6345 is one of the most iconic expedition trucks used by Russian oil, gas, and scientific sectors. The massive size of this vehicle is entirely functional, built for survival. The Kamaz 6345 runs on a 17L V8 diesel engine producing 360 horsepower, more than enough strength to haul its enormous frame across cracked ice and deep snow. Its reinforced suspension and full-time 6x6 drivetrain allow it to maintain stable traction on any terrain. Crucially, the spacious and fully thermally insulated cabin turns it into a mobile home, capable of holding beds, heating systems, and fuel reserves for weeks of self-sufficient operation. The Kamaz 6345 is more than just a transport vehicle, it's a survival fortress. In many Arctic expeditions, it serves the dual role of a heavy-duty transport truck and a safe shelter, especially when temperatures plummet to deadly lows. This truck is a testament to the Russian engineering philosophy, robust, powerful, and resilient, ready to confront the isolation and extreme cold of the Far East. Back in the 1950s, the U.S. Army needed a logistical solution to transport heavy tactical radar systems across the roadless regions of Alaska and Canada. The answer was the FWD MM1 Terra Cruiser, a brute, powerful, and versatile truck built with one singular goal: to tow military equipment where no other vehicle could go. This truck was one of the pioneering off-road expedition trucks, laying the groundwork for mobility on ice and snow during the Cold War era. What truly set the Terra Cruiser apart were its massive low-pressure tires, measuring over 1.5 meters tall. These tires were specifically engineered to float over soft snow or cruise across swampy, frozen ground without sinking, a critical feature for military operations. It was powered by a robust V8 gasoline engine providing around 400 horsepower, connected to a full-time 404 drivetrain. This power enabled the MM1 Terra Cruiser to execute precise and tough missions, especially towing specialized radar modules. The MM1 Terra Cruiser played a crucial role in constructing the DEW line, Distant Early Warning Line, radar chain across northern Canada and Alaska. In those regions where temperatures dropped to 50 degrees Celsius, it was one of the few trucks capable of completing the journey without external support. Although it looks simpler and is smaller than some of the other giants on this list, the MM1 Terra Cruiser was a pioneer, the first expedition truck of its kind for the era of extreme mobility in the Arctic. In 1962, the Soviet Union unveiled a daring engineering prototype designed to conquer any obstacle across its vast territory, the ZIL E-167. During the height of the Cold War, the need for an expedition truck capable of crossing frozen swamps, deep snow, and iced-over rivers was paramount. The ZIL E-167 was born as a symbol of Soviet technical ambition, a machine whose mere sight conveyed its massive scale and absolute off-road capability. The most unique feature of the E-167 was its engine configuration. The vehicle was fitted with two ZIL 375 V8 gasoline engines, each producing 180 horsepower, totaling 360 horsepower, distributed through a specially engineered transmission. At over 8.2 meters long and sitting on 1.6 meter high low-pressure tires, this 6x6 truck could navigate places where even military vehicles failed. The cabin was pressurized and insulated with special heating systems, ensuring the two crew members could operate for extended periods in temperatures as low as 50 degrees C. During testing, the ZIL E167 covered over 15,000 kilometers in brutal terrain, proving its unmatched mobility. Although high production costs, mechanical complexity, and enormous fuel consumption prevented its mass production, the single unit ever built is preserved as an icon of Arctic expedition engineering. The ZIL E167 was a legendary experiment, a colossal vehicle built to conquer isolation. In the 1980s, Soviet industry faced a challenge: how to move heavy cargo through icy, swampy terrains where even their best 6x6 trucks failed. The solution was the Ural 5920, a vehicle that completely abandoned wheels in favor of a tank-style track system, transforming it into a hybrid between a truck and a military crawler. This is one of the most unique expedition trucks ever built. The Ural 5920 was specifically engineered for low-resistance terrain such as frozen tundra, deep snow, and sludge. Its chassis was modified to run on a dual-track system, connected by a central articulated joint that allowed it to bend in the middle, a clever design for increased maneuverability. Measuring about 11 meters long and weighing 13 tons, its weight was spread evenly across two nearly 4-meter-long tracks. This gave the Ural 5920 an ultra-low ground pressure, allowing it to float across soft snow or thin ice without sinking deep. This machine ran on a 14L diesel V8 engine, tuned to deliver continuous low-end torque, which is exactly what is needed to slowly push through the most extreme conditions. The Ural 5920 was mainly used in the oil and gas industry, transporting gear and supplies to places where helicopters couldn't land and wheeled vehicles couldn't reach. Though less known outside Russia, this massive tracked vehicle remains a benchmark in extreme off-road transport. While most expedition trucks on this list were born in military factories, the Burlac snow truck is a rare exception. It was built by independent Russian adventurers with a clear mission: to drive self-sufficiently to the North Pole across the ice. This is one of the smartest and most modern exploration vehicles ever made, looking like nothing so much as a miniature space rover on wheels. The Burlac isn't the biggest truck here, but it's one of the smartest. It measures 6.2 meters long and has 6 enormous low-pressure tires, each 1.75 meters wide, with onboard pressure adjustment operable right from the cabin. This design allows the Burlac to float over soft snow, and most astonishingly, it's amphibious, able to cross partially frozen lakes. Built on a light tubular steel chassis, the Burlac uses a Kamaz 2.8 ISF turbo diesel engine, optimized for low-end torques and fuel efficiency. Inside, the Burlac is a complete mobile survival shelter, featuring beds, a stove, heating, and solar panels. It can sustain 4 people to live and work for weeks. This vehicle successfully completed its expedition from Russia to the North Pole over the ice, a route once deemed impossible for wheeled vehicles. The Burlac snow truck proves that modern expedition engineering relies not just on massive power but also on ingenuity and self-sufficiency. The Crest AHT730C, articulated haul truck, is a beast engineered to survive the coldest corners of the planet where conventional transport is useless. Born from a partnership between Crest and Caterpillar, this articulated truck was built for mining, oil, gas, and scientific operations in regions like the Canadian Arctic, Alaska, and Antarctic bases. It's used for hauling heavy-duty, oversized cargo across deep snow and ice. With its articulated chassis and 6C6 drive, the Crest AHT730C offers surprising maneuverability for its size. The center hinge design allows it to handle tight turns, even while pulling loads of up to 200 tons, about the weight of 3 full-sized freight cars. A key feature is the Caterpillar C13 6-cylinder diesel engine, which is equipped with an extreme cold start system, allowing the truck to operate in temperatures as low as 60 degrees C without needing external preheating. The cabin of the Crest AHT730C is fully climate-controlled, ensuring the crew stays warm and alert. In case of getting stuck, which is a constant risk in Arctic terrain, the vehicle comes with a hydraulic winch for self-recovery. The Crest AHT730C is one of the less-known massive transport trucks but stands as a reference point for performance on ice and snow, a quiet pillar of the resource extraction industry in the polar regions. When it comes to bizarre and brilliant expedition trucks, few compare to the Crowley Catco Rolligon. This truck looks like nothing so much as a motorized air mattress rolling on giant pillow-soft tires. Developed by Catco, the Rolligon was created to solve a difficult problem in the Arctic. How do you transport tons of supplies across soft snow and permafrost without sinking? The solution lies in the massive low-pressure inflatable Rolligon tires, each measuring up to 2.44 meters in diameter. These tires distribute the vehicle's weight so evenly that it virtually floats over the snow, earning it the nickname Rolligon. The truck came in 6xe6 or 808 versions, used Caterpillar diesel engines, and could haul over 30 tons of gear. This unique design allowed it to traverse soft terrain where conventional trucks with stiff tires would instantly get stuck. Many of the Rolligon trucks were hand-built, using parts from tractors and modified buses, showcasing the DIY spirit of polar survival engineering. This truck was used to carry fuel, communication towers, and building materials to remote villages, oil fields, or scientific outposts in Alaska and northern Canada. The Rolligon is a giant of innovation, and its unique tire design has become a global term to describe any low-pressure tire polar vehicle. Few vehicles carry as much historical and literal weight as the legendary Kharkovchanka. Built in Soviet Ukraine in 1959, this tracked vehicle was based on the AT military tank chassis and completely redesigned to become a mobile survival base in the most extreme climate on Earth, Antarctica. It is one of the largest and most durable polar expedition vehicles in history. Measuring 8.5 meters long and weighing about 24 tons, the Kharkovchanka used wide tank treads to distribute its weight, giving it traction over any frozen surface, deep snow, and cracked ice. It was originally powered by a 38.8L V12 diesel engine, producing nearly 1,000 horsepower. However, the Expedition version was tuned down to around 600 horsepower to prioritize durability and fuel efficiency over raw power. Inside, the Kharkovchanka was fully insulated, featuring heating systems, bunk beds, a workbench, a kitchen, and communication gear, enough space for up to 8 crew members to live and work for weeks. It was used during Antarctic expeditions, especially at Vostok Station where temperatures could plunge below 80 degrees C. The Kharkovchanka is more than just an expedition truck. It's a house on tracks with full autonomy, and its design continues to inspire modern polar vehicles. Have you ever heard of a train that doesn't need tracks? Exactly. The Overland Train Mark II, also known as the BC-22 Snow Freighter, was a groundbreaking U.S. Army project from the late 1950s. The goal was to transport massive supplies across the Arctic without ships, planes, or railroads. It remains one of the longest land machines ever built. The full convoy consisted of 7 hydraulically linked modular trailers pulled by a command unit called the LCC-1. In total, this machine stretched an unbelievable 173 meters long, the equivalent of almost 2 football fields, and was capable of hauling over 150 tons of cargo. Power came from a 600 horsepower turbo diesel engine, which generated electricity to power electric motors on every wheel. The train could reach speeds of 30 kilometers per h, 18 mm's, slow but steady, enough to cross the Arctic without roads. The Overland train was mainly used to supply the DW line radar stations in northern Canada, a Cold War network built to detect Soviet threats. Although functional, it was too expensive and complex to maintain. Once heavy lift cargo planes became more reliable, The Overland Train Mark II was retired. However, its legacy remains. It is one of the biggest land machines ever built and an inspiration for many futuristic vehicle designs. Finally, but no less massive, is the Antarctic Snow Cruiser, the largest off-road expedition vehicle ever built. Designed in the US in 1939, it was intended to be a mobile research laboratory in Antarctica for the second Bird Antarctic expedition. The ambition was staggering: to allow a scientific team to live, work, and traverse Antarctica for months without outside support. Its structure was astounding: 17 meters long, nearly 5 meters wide, 4.5 meters tall, and weighing over 34 tons. It was bigger than a modern double-decker bus. The vehicle rolled on 4 huge rubber tires, each nearly 3 meters tall with no tracks or chains. Its powertrain was also revolutionary for the time: a diesel engine supplying electricity to power electric motors on each wheel. The interior was even more futuristic. It featured a research lab, living quarters, and even a folding airplane hangar on the rooftop. However, the snow cruiser failed almost immediately upon arriving in Antarctica. The high-pressure tires didn't generate enough traction on the snow, and the vehicle constantly slipped and got stuck. After traveling just a few kilometers, it was abandoned, and the team continued by more conventional means. Although it failed its mission, the Antarctic Snow Cruiser became a legend, the biggest polar truck ever built, a symbol of the fine line between engineering ambition and cold reality. From the Kamaz 6345 Fortress and the amphibious Burlac, to the 173-meter Overland train and the failed Antarctic Snow Cruiser giant, these off-road expedition trucks prove that human engineering can stand up to every extreme condition. They aren't just massive machines, they are rolling legends that have conquered the cold and traversed white deserts. Which truck on this list stunned you the most? Comment below right now. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next videos about the most incredible machines conquering the world. See you next time.